So, welcome to Talking Sports by the Lake. Thank you for joining me at the Lake House today. We have a very special episode as I'm bringing in a new member to the team, Penn from Pensman Sports. And we're going to talk about the Steelers and Browns Week 18, final week of the season matchup. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. So, before we get started, tell everybody where they can find you at.
I'm on Twitter at Pensman Sports. I'm also on TikTok on Pensman Sports.
Okay. I'll definitely have to give you a follow on TikTok as I have one for Talking Sports by the Lake up there as well. Um, so, first question at the Lake House that we like to ask every guest is what were your expectations coming into the season versus what they are now?
I had them. I didn't have a certain record, but I told everybody at the beginning of the season that they are going to do bad. Kenny Pickett's coming in, brand new quarterback, doesn't know the playbook, doesn't know the Pittsburgh system, and Trubisky was supposed to be a bridge to mentor Kenny Pickett, and I think their expectations are a little higher than what I expected, but they are coming back. I knew Mike Tomlin was going to be a fighter. I didn't. Everybody was there. Oh, you're 2-6. I'm like, well, Mike Tomlin. I told everybody, so that's what my prediction on that.
Okay, so as far as that goes, um, did you get what you expected out of Trubisky, and are you satisfied, unsatisfied, or are you at the top of the spectrum as very satisfied when it comes to Kenny Pickett?
I'm very satisfied with Kenny Pickett. He is a fast learner. He is very mobile quarterback, as Mike Tomlin says, but he is achiever. He always goes for the highest achievement. He always goes and gets it. He is the rookie of the year for the Steelers, and I am dissatisfied of Mitch Trubisky. He is horrible. I was not for it when he started. He needs to tell. He needs to figure out where he's throwing it and confuse the defense. He always goes. He always sees like if I'm passing it to you, I'm going to pass it right to you. He doesn't confuse the defense with his eyes. He always goes where he goes, and defense always reads where he goes. So annoying.
Absolutely.
So annoying.
Um,
I thought with Josh Allen, I thought he would learn a little bit about confusing the defenses, but he hasn't learned anything apparently.
absolutely. So, um, coming into this game, there's an opportunity for the Browns here to sweep the Pittsburgh Steelers for the first time since I believe the 80s.
89,
Um,
89.
since 89.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, do you think the Steelers will live up to this pressure and get it done to possibly have a chance to make the playoffs, or do you think my Cleveland Browns will ruin it for you guys this year?
Not to start any fight or anything. I think we'll get into the playoffs. I think I think we'll come out with a victory because I told another member he's a Ravens fan. I told him that you can't. It's hard to sweep a team in the AFC in our division. You always split. The Steelers did it a couple times, but it's very hard to beat one team and then come back a couple weeks and as much improvement as we have, we it's pretty hard because the Ravens the Ravens beat us week one when we played them. Then we came back last week and beat them. So I'm saying that it's pretty hard to beat the same team twice. As much improvement as the Steelers have, I think we'll just get over the edge with you. The only thing that scares me is the Patriots got to the is the Patriots and the Jets game. That's the
Hmm.
only that's the only thing that scares us of getting in. But with the Browns, I think we'll beat the Browns by a field goal.
By a field goal. So, for the game to go your way, which I'm hoping that it doesn't, um,
It's,
what are your offensive keys for this game?
move the chains, move the ball, don't get sacked too many times, contain Garrett, Miles Garrett is a beast. I have to give him that. Contain the corners. Make sure you run by your corners because your corners are pretty stacked.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch week one, your corners stopped us on third down and crucial plays. It's just one of those things.
Mm-hmm. I was actually at week one. That was an interesting game. Being that being it was a night game, and the fact that we were actually able to beat the Steelers at home was a hell of a night.
Yeah, I thought we were going to pull that off, but yeah.
Honestly, I thought you guys were too. But um, what are your defensive keys for this game?
Well, Deshaun Watson's back,
Mm-hmm.
Not Triscuit. So we gotta play Watson like we would with Lamar Jackson or Tyler Huntley. If we contain Watson because he's a runner and mobile like Lamar Jackson and Tyler Huntley and Jalen Hurts, so we gotta contain him like that. We gotta contain Nick Chubb because Nick Chubb can go right by our defensive line and destroy us.
Absolutely.
So if we can do that,
Do you have a offensive or defensive standout that you think will have a great game this coming Sunday?
I think Deontay's going to be good. I don't know. I think Chubb's, if like I said, if we don't contain Chubb, he could be a factor. I think it's going to be coming down to the field goal kickers. I have a feeling. I just have a feeling that it's just going to be one of those games. It's going to be a typical AFC rival game. It's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
lot of pushing and shoving, and Steelers know what they're playing for, so they're going to be more attentive than the first game. So I think Nick Chubb's going to have a good game. I think Deontay's going to have a good game. So
Does uh does Johnson get his first touchdown of the year this week?
no, no, I'm a
Just a flat
realist.
out no.
Yeah, I'm a realistic, and Deontay Johnson, the way he spins around and backs up, and if he learned to go forward, and he did good in the Ravens game. If you watch my stream, I was saying that he caught the ball and went up. If he catches the ball and goes forward, then we're good. But the way he spins around, I don't think so.
Okay. So um
We just got to feed the ball to Pat Fairmouth and Najee Harris like we did, and we'll be good.
okay. So from my perspective as a Browns fan, um it seems like for rookie quarterbacks that we face, especially in the division, we seem to have their number early on of recently, with being with Burrow, splitting series with Lamar Jackson. Seeing that this will be our first time playing Kenny Pickett, do you think that the games, since he's been able to play some regular season games at this point, do you think it will help him going against our versatile secondary? Or do you think he'll struggle?
Depends on what Matt Canada draws up, and depends how much pocket presence he has. If he's clean in the pocket, he'll do good. But if Miles Garrett and other defensive linemen crowds the pocket, he's going to struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope he has a clean pocket. If you have a clean pocket, good things are going to happen.
Fair enough. Um, so as you said before, you felt like the score prediction you were had the Steelers by 3. What's your actual score number?
2017.
2017. Do you know what the weather will be at game time?
Mm, right now, showers. It's supposed to rain.
So rainy weather.
Yeah,
Any wind with that?
no, that's like 5 miles maybe, but not that much wind. It's typical Ohio. I don't know how Ohio is. I haven't been to Ohio for a while, but it's supposed to be rainy. That's all I know.
Well, good luck with Cade York for as far as we go with the Browns. Um, for me, um, I have the Browns winning 28-20. I think Deshaun Watson builds off of what he did last week with the Commanders. The question for me where this game can be won or lost is going to be on the defensive side of the ball due to the fact that Jadeveon Clowney has been in the media due to some stuff that came out over Friday and Saturday with a private interview he did with Mary Kay Cabot, where he cited that he felt like he was taking out of favorable matchups and given more difficult situations to let Myles Garrett be the Hall of Fame chaser that the Browns want him to be.
Right.
So he got sent home Friday. He's been downgraded to out as of a couple minutes ago.
That
I think
helps
that's
us
going to
out.
be, yeah, I think that'll be a good motivator
Najee.
for our defense, especially with the comments that Ben Roethlisberger has been making throughout the week on podcasts and radio spots about the Browns are the Browns. And you know, the last time we heard that comment, what happened
Mm-hmm.
there?
Mm-hmm.
I think where we're going to be able to win the game is if Miles can pull one out his ass and have a 2-3 sack game. I think it'll be best if our corners show up to play today or tomorrow, excuse me. I think that will be our best opportunity because if we give you guys the confidence
Right.
that you can move the ball up and down the field and that we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot with penalties, it's going to be a long day.
Do you
The
think we
talk
could?
around town out here is that can Nick Chubb get the 1,500 yards to eclipse that record and also win the rushing title? I think if he has a good to big first half, I think they'll continue to feed him the ball. But that also depends on how our defense shows up and how they play. Do you have any questions that you feel you would want answered for a Browns perspective?
Do you think you're going to actually show up and play your hardest, even though you have nothing to play for, and the Steelers have everything to play for, despite of Patriots and Jets?
Yes. The reason that I do is because I thought that if they were going to lay an egg, it would have been last week when they had nothing to fight for after losing that game to the Saints. That was definitely a winnable game. But it also took that loss to help me realize that this season was punted on a long time ago when we let him go up against Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Yeah.
It showed me that they were here to use these 6 games to figure out what Deshaun Watson does well and what he needs to work on so that next year they can hit the ground rolling. I think that the comments by Jadeveon Clowney have woken up the coaching staff and players on the roster, especially some starters that are going to make them want to come out and fight. They've also been talking about the comments that they've been hearing from Steelers players and former Steelers players about the Browns are going to Brown, and they always
Mm-hmm.
have the same thing. They have one good year, and then they're the rest of the history.
Right.
So to answer your question, yeah, I think they are going to show up.
Okay.
And a quick side note to that, actually, as long as they don't get punched in the mouth early, I think it's going to be physical all the way through. But if they get punched in the mouth early, I do think that they might roll over.
Okay.
But there's that. Do you have any other questions?
No. Pretty much answered everything I got. So.
Okay. So barring you don't make the playoffs, are there any changes that you would want the front office to make?
If we beat the Browns, we go 9-8. Mike Tomlin will go to 16 winning seasons in a row, chasing Landry for 21. Now,
Mm-hmm.
with that said, I think Tomlin stays. I think Matt Canada goes. I think Terrell Austin goes. Brian Flores is talking about Denver, so I can see him leaving, even though I don't want him to leave. But
Mm-hmm.
but that's who I can think is going to make a move.
Okay. Any roster changes?
Oh, there's always going to be roster changes because of draft, and as far as the current roster, I'm not on top of it. I don't know how much money we have, but I like to see another wide receiver come in. I like to see Deontay go. He's just not putting up the numbers. So I like to see another George Pickens come in. I don't know who that would be, but I
Mm-hmm.
like to be like that kind of factor, like Amari Cooper or somebody like that come in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just Deontay catches the ball, spins around, and then he much time. Instead of getting that extra yard, he uses that extra yard and spins around. And Deontay is just not putting up performance. He hasn't even had a touchdown to completion this year.
He's been trying to make everybody miss.
Yeah,
Um, with your defense starting to age, would you prefer your first round pick to be on the defensive side of the ball, or would you want to put more pieces around Kenny Pickett?
that's what I'm saying. I like to see another George Pickens to help. They're looking at. I like to. There's a. I can't think of who it is. There's a Pittsburgh wide receiver now that Kenny Pickett played with. I'd like to see him come in. I think his name's Skyler. I think. I don't know. I can't think of his name right now. I'd like to see him come in because him and Pickett have a good connection. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Burrow got better because of Jamar Chase. Because they gelled in college and they got Jamar Chase, and now they're throwing dimes at each other.
Fair
So
enough.
I got a comment here as I see the offensive line getting traded. So
Well, I definitely have been there for that one. Speaking on offensive lineman moves, just because of what they just did with Jack Conklin and the whole rebuild they did 4 years ago. But you brought something up a little bit earlier, that sparked a question in my mind.
what's that?
If we beat you guys and you have your first losing season under Mike Tomlin, do you think he's gone?
No, no. If you have three losing seasons in a row, you won 15 seasons without a losing record. They don't get rid of him unless something dramatic happens upstairs that we don't know about,
Mm-hmm.
like the Michigan program that came out. I don't know if you heard, but Harbaugh's in hot shoes right now. If something happened with
Yeah.
that we don't know about as a fan base or nation, we don't know about, then that's possible. But
Mm-hmm.
but if everything stays normal and everything's hush hush or whatever, that everything's good, I don't think he does.
Fair enough.
It's only one losing season. You guys had
Yeah.
you guys kept, I forget how many coaches. You had two or three losing seasons.
Right. I need you and Adam to have this conversation because I've been trying to convince Adam all year to keep Mike Tomlin. His entire argument is that he's tired of just having winning seasons and out in the first or second round.
And
That
he's right, but you got to have it's a different animal in the playoffs.
mm-hmm.
There's better teams. There's no injuries. There's no backups. The roster is set. It's the playoffs are playoffs.
Yeah.
You want to get your best team on the field and win the championship for your organization. It's that simple. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's an ongoing conversation because other guys that are a part of the group that you'll eventually meet, like Jets Chaos, Melissa. I'm pretty sure you've met Melissa before, but
Oh yeah,
there are others within the group that are just like you're losing your mind.
no. Every organization's different. You had what 2 or 3 seasons. You kept the same coach after the third season. It's like, all right, we tried, you've done your best, now you're gone. But
Mm-hmm.
but you went 15 seasons without a losing season. How many organizations can actually say you went 15 years without a losing season? And when you do in the playoffs, you can't control the outcome because there's some penalties, and you watch my streams, I see it every stream. There's going to be calls that you don't agree with that can change the factor of the game. Referees are normal people that don't see every play, but as a fan, you do, and they might have a different angle. And that that one penalty, if we play you in the playoffs and you do something stupid and the referees didn't see it, and you end up winning. Simple as that.
Absolutely. And then there's a lot of times where, um, whether people believe it or not, there's a lot of situations where the NFL is like, don't call pass interference in this situation, or
Right.
on offense or defense, or it's the fourth quarter, it's the final play, don't call a holding. Um, it's got to be completely blatant if it's a roughing the passer or this or that. And we've had these situations throughout the entire year.
Right.
Um, but I absolutely agree with that. Um, do you have a Super Bowl prediction?
Oh boy. As much as I hate to admit, and Niners fans are going to be all over me, I have the Niners and the Chiefs. Right now, as much as a great year that Philly has, as much as we're the best and they done this and they got this player, that got that player, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts' shoulder is good enough to take him to the Super Bowl. When you come, when you come,
I've been
yeah,
wondering on that,
yeah,
but
you
for
come
my
off a
Super
sprained
Bowl
shoulder.
prediction, I hope Melissa is watching just so I can give her a nice little troll. I have the Eagles beating the Niners in the championship to make it to the Super Bowl, and I have them going up against Buffalo,
Okay,
and I have Philly versus Buffalo, and I have Buffalo winning it close in the fourth.
right.
But we've almost run out of time here at the Lake House, so give everybody a chance to um, know where they can find you on all your platforms.
I'm on Twitter of Pensman Sports. I'm on TikTok on Pensman Sports.
All right,
There might
absolutely.
be,
So everybody go
yeah,
give my man a follow. He'll definitely be on next season and in the off season as we're gonna try to figure something out where we can do draft talk, free agency talk, and just breaking news. But again, I want to say thank you for coming on Talking Sports by the Lake and joining me at the Lake House. As I set sail to the stadium, I'll see you there. Um,
that's it.
and I'll catch you soon, my man.
Yeah. All right, man.